T minus 1 minute. T minus 50 seconds. T minus 40 seconds. T minus 30 seconds. T minus 20 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
All right, welcome. My name is Patrick Rooney. I'm the founder of Old School Natural Health, Success, and Freedom. And we're going live tonight. Scary. I've been live for a little while, and it's quite a trip. I enjoy it and am terrified of it at the same time. So figure that out. We are the reason I really wanted to go live. I didn't plan on that until this morning, but I saw what Kamala Harris has been talking about lately, and she's just gone completely off the rails. I hope people can recognize that. I think a lot of people do. Those people that are, I guess, part of her base, she is really jacking up right now. And what I realized when I saw her speaking, and I'll show you some video in a little bit here, and I'll show you exactly what she's talking about. When I saw her, I realized that she is a very desperate, she's an evil woman to start with. There's no question about it. She is an evil woman, and God help us if she gets anywhere near the presidency. Well, she's already gotten the vice presidency, but God help us if she wins this coming election. So she is, I don't believe that she, at this point, if there was a fair election, we're talking about a clean, fair election, I think Trump is very far ahead. That being said, what did Joseph Stalin say about it doesn't matter who votes, it matters who counts the votes. That's going to be the interesting part. But I think a lot of the Democrats are flailing around right now, and they're in the panic mode. And this is what really concerns me, because I think what we've heard her talk about now has nothing to do with actually her closing statement on why she wants to win the presidency. It more has to do with setting something up here. It's kind of like, if I can't have it, nobody's going to have it. And I really, truly believe, and I'm sure a lot of you out there probably agree with me, that they are setting up a situation in which if she loses, which is looking more and more like that right now, that President Trump will not be able to govern. They did this in Israel to Bibi Netanyahu recently. Thank God he has been able to govern. But at first, when he first got in, he had a lot of trouble because they ginned up protests in the streets and basically almost shut the wheels of government down completely. And that's exactly what they're going to try to do here. So we're really going to have to watch for that. But I want to get right into the reason I'm really doing this is because I want to show some of the things that she's saying and show how much BS is behind it, and basically bring the receipts on some of this stuff and talk about some of the people who are ginning up, creating a lot of havoc and a lot of hatred behind the scenes. Obviously, we know Barack Obama, Barry Soetoro, is doing that. And thankfully, I think by now he is showing himself to more and more Americans who really see what this guy's all about. When I think about it, I think about we hardly had we had a lot of the really awful things that are going on in America started when this guy was president. I mean, the whole trans movement kind of started, right? We could talk a lot about the trans movement and Barack Obama. There's definitely a connection there, and some of you know what I'm talking about. But the hatred of the police, the rioting in the streets, a lot of things that were going on overseas. People made the mistake, I think, when Obama came in, thinking that a lot of people say, "Oh, he's just listening to somebody else," which everybody listens to somebody else. The question is, who are you listening to? But they underestimated Obama. Obama is I've said this many times. He's a very intelligent man, and a lot of people believe he's behind the scenes right now, and I think that's pretty clear that he is. And there's other people behind the scenes, but he's probably the principal person behind the scenes right now. And I wouldn't underestimate this guy, although I am happy, very happy to see that he is being, people are seeing him more and more clear all the time. So anyway, let me get right into what I wanted to talk about. And I'm going to get into Kamala Harris here and what she said. Now, this is going back now a couple days, but it's still fresh because what she's putting into motion here is just, she had already lied a lot about Trump when she was debating Trump, and just lied and lied and lied, and she got away with it because the media moderators let her get away with it. But the more she shows herself now, she's kind of running against herself in a way. She had a town hall on CNN, and no, Trump wasn't even there, and she lost a town hall to herself, which was really funny. So let me get into what she said, and I just find it fascinating, and we're going to see exactly where she's coming from. So let me see. Okay, here we go.
So yesterday we learned that Donald Trump's former chief of staff, John Kelly, a retired four-star general, confirmed that while Donald Trump was president, he said he wanted generals like Adolf Hitler had. Donald Trump said that because he does not want a military that is loyal to the United States Constitution. He wants a military that is loyal to him.
So she just gets right into it, right? I mean, she plays the Hitler card. When you're losing and you're desperate, you play the Hitler card. Now, this general that Trump had, Kelly, this happened a long time ago, and Trump fired this guy along with many others. And a lot of the generals do not like Trump. They, generals had clashes with others too. The generals had clashes with JFK, and they do not, just because they're a general, it doesn't mean that they are on the page. They are somebody who's working for you, and if they're not doing what you want them to do, it's fair game. I mean, they've got to go. So let me show you something here. Well, let me go on a little bit further with this. She's talking about the generals and how they went off, how he's not listening to the generals and this guy. Let me go a little bit further.
He wants a military who will be loyal to him personally, one that will obey his orders even when he tells them to break the law or abandon their oath to the Constitution of the United States.
The oath is really, really rich, right? When we talk about the oath of the Constitution, it's quite rich to talk about. This is interesting. Oath, right? We hear about the oath, and what is your oath of office, right? Well, this is very interesting. Okay, this is something I just found today. This is for the Senate. uh, and part of the U.S. Constitution. It's the oath of office that they take to go into the senator. I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. So these people have a real serious issue with someone. Trump has been calling he's been calling people domestic enemies, and the left is just flipping out. What do you mean domestic enemies? You're saying the people of the United States within our own borders can be enemy? Yeah, this is what the founding fathers said too. All enemies, foreign and domestic. If you're going to take over a country, what is the best way to do it? I think even Abraham Lincoln said, you're going to do it from within. The United States is not going to fall from without. It's going to fall if it's going to fall from within. And that's exactly what is going on here. And so enemies, foreign and domestic, you bet. Yeah, nothing unusual about that. That's for sure. I will go on here. Let me see. Here we go. All right, hang on a second here. Here we go. Okay, let me get her back in there. Technical. Okay, here we go. All right, we go on.
In just the past week, Donald Trump has repeatedly called his fellow Americans the enemy from within.
Yep.
And even said that he would use the United States military to go after American citizens.
Okay, so supposedly Trump said he would use the U.S. military to go after American citizens. Doesn't that sound horrible if somebody would do that? Did Trump say that? Did he really say he's going to go after American citizens? Well, let me see here. Yeah. Well, here's one. Trump vows long-term prison sentences for election cheating. Shouldn't somebody have long-term prison sentences for election cheating? Yeah. Is that going after a U.S. citizen? Yeah. They are U.S. citizens. Some of the people that cheat in elections, some are not. Of course, this article here can't help but also say, at the end, the media, it can't help itself, despite no evidence of major fraud. So all of the cheating that's been going on, and there's so many cowards out there who won't stand up against the cheating that's going on. We know that 2020 was, there were so many people that dealt with this. I mean, Dinesh D'Souza, there were many people that dealt with the cheating. But because none of the judges on a national level wanted to take this thing on, they just said, oh, there's no standing. You don't have standing in the court here, so therefore we're not going to deal with election fraud. A lot of cowards, and that resulted, frankly, that the cowardice resulted in Biden being named as president, which is a real shame. But yeah, so this is an example of American citizens who are cheating, and they're going to get long prison sentences. You bet they are. Shall I go on?
Let's be clear about who he considers to be the enemy from within. Anyone who refuses to bend a knee or dares to criticize him would qualify, in his mind, as the enemy within.
Speaking of his mind, said anybody who dares to criticize him or won't bend a knee will be considered the enemy within. She pulled that right out of her own backside. I mean, where does that come from? In his mind? Now she's going into the mind of Donald Trump. This is really pretty crazyville here. It just kind of makes this thing up.
Like judges, like journalists, like
okay, so if you're a journalist and you don't agree with Trump, he's going to throw you in jail. Is that right? He's going to throw you in jail if you are a journalist and you don't agree with Trump. I've never seen I haven't seen Trump do that. I'm not sure where they're pulling this thing out of, but it's funny. The journalists who have gone to jail had nothing to do with Trump. These journalists are that they're speaking of that Trump is supposed to be going after, but it sounds like absolute desperation.
Partisan election officials. It is deeply.
Yeah, we talked about partisan election officials again. Here you go. Trump vows long-term prison sentences for election cheating. Yeah, I hope so. I hope those people who are thinking about cheating in this upcoming election are thinking about that, because if they try to pull off some cheating and they don't get away with it and Trump gets in power, he's going to put him in jail. He's going to put him in prison for a long time. So yes, I hope you're thinking about that, people that are thinking of cheating. And I know there's a lot of people thinking of cheating who will be cheating in this election. And anybody who thinks otherwise, I think is got some kind of a problem. Okay, so let me go on.
Deeply troubling and incredibly dangerous that Donald Trump would invoke Adolf Hitler, the man who is responsible for the deaths of 6 million Jews and hundreds of thousands of Americans.
So obviously, anything someone says about Hitler, if you brainwash somebody enough and just say Hitler, you freak people out. And they're saying that Donald Trump has some affinity for Hitler here. I mean, Jared Kushner is his son-in-law, number one. I don't see him, Trump kicking him out of the White House or the family. Another thing that's interesting about the Jews is, wow, what about Middle East? What about when Trump was in power, there were a number of peace accords between Israel and their neighbors. And that was an amazing thing that went on. There's one of, I got the wrong one there. Here's one. I'm going to read this because it's so interesting. President Donald J. Trump brokers a historic peace agreement between Israel and Sudan. Okay? This stuff is historic. Other presidents tried this stuff and it didn't have success with it. Here's a quote from President Trump. They are choosing a future in which Arabs and Israelis, Muslims, Jews and Christians can live together. So this guy who loves Hitler, supposedly wants to get rid of Jews, hates Jews. Now he's brokering peace agreements in the Middle East. Does that make sense? So it says they can live together, pray together, dream together, side by side in harmony, community, and peace. There's a mayor in Michigan, Muslim, Arab, and they have an area there that's heavily Arab. And this guy came out and backed Trump the other day because he believes that Trump will help bring peace in the Middle East. Why wouldn't he think that? Trump has done it already. Here's the bottom of this right here. It says, striking another historic agreement. President Donald J. Trump has brokered a peace agreement between Sudan and Israel. The third of agreement between Israel and an Arab Muslim nation in less than 3 months. I guess they call these the Abraham Accords, I believe, altogether. I don't know if that was the last one or if there are others, but 3 of them is quite amazing. Quite amazing, really quite amazing stuff. So this woman is getting herself really in deep here. But again, I don't think she thinks she can win at this point. She's really muddying the waters and, making things very, very dangerous. Can you believe a guy who's been shot? They shot him once, almost killed him. Just turning his head at the last moment is the only thing that saved his life. We all know that, or most of us do. There are some conspiracy people out there still. But and then again, another guy came to his golf course and tried to kill him. And it's clear when you call somebody Hitler, fascist, and all these things, you are going to bring the nuts out of the woodwork. I think we all know that. Kamala Harris knows that, and she knows dang well what she's doing. So does Obama. Obama had the nerve the other day to come out and say, we don't, not the way it used to be. People don't treat each other nicely now. Well, no kidding, Barry. After you got into power, they don't treat each other well anymore, do they? Talking about those Bible people that love to cling to their Bible and their guns. Every time a race situation came up, remember Trayvon Martin? The guy was a thug. And Barry was, what did he say about, he could have been my son. Why are you taking sides like that? You know what you're doing. And he did the same thing. He tried to destroy the relationship between Israel, speaking of Israel, and the U.S. Who's a greater friend of Israel by far? Trump or Harris, Obama, Biden? We know the answer to that. This is really incredible.
All of this is further evidence for the American people of who Donald Trump really is. This is a window into who Donald Trump really is.
No, it isn't. It isn't like that. This is a window into exactly who you are, Kamala, who you are. That's the amazing thing about the left is that and a lot of people are onto this now too, thank God. They do that. They accuse others of doing what they do. This is what they are all about.
From the people who know him best, from the people who worked with him side by side in the Oval Office and in the Situation Room.
Well, you know what? I'll tell you who knows Trump the best, really. If you think about it, who knows Trump the best? These people do. These are the people of the United States. These are the people who know Trump best, because the people are the ones who are affected by the governance that happens, the Trump's governance. And this man is beloved all over, by people who actually aren't brainwashed and aren't watching MSNBC and CNN all the time for their news. Trump is beloved. Okay, here we go.
And it is clear from John Kelly's words that Donald Trump is someone who, I quote, certainly falls into the general definition of fascist.
Fascist.
Who in fact vowed to be a dictator on day one.
Okay, so this thing about Trump being a dictator, he supposedly, look, Trump, when you are president of the United States. You are also the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. Trump went to a military academy when he was young. He has a mind of a commander-in-chief, and he doesn't take a lot of crap. If anybody who watched the Reagan film recently, you saw Ronald Reagan was the same way like that. When he was governor of California, these students came in and tried to shut down, UC Berkeley? And he just came in and said, we're not going to have that. And so they told him, don't do that. Don't take them on. It's not going to look good. He took them on straight up. And he said, you're not going to do that. I am for law and order. And Trump is a law and order guy. One thing that we should know about Trump is he's a law and order guy. Let me see. Oh, here we are. Dictator on day one. So this is kind of a funny, quick exchange, but Trump was on Hannity, and Hannity discusses with him. Here's that piece right here. So Trump referring to Hannity, Hannity got him on and asked him about, what is this dictator on? Can you tell people that you won't be a dictator when you come into office? So Trump, and then they kind of had a back and forth, and Trump was kind of laughing with him. And then he referred to Hannity. He says, we love this guy. Okay. He says, you are not going to be a dictator, are you? I said, no, other than day one. Day one, you're going to be a dictator for one day. And what he said about being a dictator, he says, we are closing the border. If you want to call that a dictator, we're under an invasion, you call it what you will. And we are drilling. He's trying to bring back the energy dominance of the United States, which we had under Trump and which we've lost. And he said, after that, I'm not a dictator, okay? And Hannity says, that sounds to me like you're going back to the policies when you were president. Well, no kidding.
And vowed to use the military as his personal militia to carry.
I just like to know on some of this stuff, Trump vowed to use the military as his personal militia. Do you guys have tape on some of this stuff? I mean, some of the stuff, I know that the devil, they're like the devil. It's like their father is a devil. And the devil doesn't usually lie straight out, just lie, because it's not believable enough. But the devil will deceive. He's a deceiver, really. And so what they do is they deceive. They'll take a little truth, like Louis Farrakhan used to do, right? Take a little truth and then just throw some crap in there. And that's exactly what Kamala does. I mean, but even on some of this stuff, I think she's so desperate that I don't even know if there's a little truth. Man, what is it? Let me pull this slightly back here because I want to repeat this part here.
Personal militia
to
carry out his personal and political vendettas.
So a personal militia. Please give me some tape on this. Give me something. They put stuff out on Trump that has no tape on it. Some of the stuff they have somebody, like John Kelly spouting off something way after he was fired years later. But a lot of the stuff, they have anonymous sources mentioning this. This is not how you do journalism. You don't do journalism by quoting anonymous sources. And that's all you got. A lot of times it's just one. It might just be one source. It's so crazy. All right. Oh. All right. Lost it for a minute.
With this AI tool, you can generate images like this.
We don't want this on here.
Now you must be thinking, okay, so what? This AI tool will only...
All right.
So you have John Kelly, a retired four-star general, confirmed that while Donald Trump was president.
All right, let's get it back. All right. Technical difficulty. If you can't deal with technical difficulty, you can't do a live stream. And I don't know if we're going to get this tape back, but we shall see. Let's see.
He tells them to break the law. Or past week, Donald Trump has repeatedly called his fellow Americans the enemy from within.
Yeah, we dealt with
and
that.
Even said.
All right, bear with me a minute here because we're
the United States military to go after American citizens. And let's be clear about who he considers to be
we dealt with
or
that.
Dares to criticize him as the enemy within.
I
like
wish
judges.
when I was watching her, I could just do this with video. Like if I was watching her live, if I could just kind of go, and that way I wouldn't have to hear anymore. I mean, this woman is actually making people pull their hair out and scream. I mean, I've seen people who just can't take it anymore. No, it's like a Chinese water torture.
Like journalists.
Yeah.
I
heard
non-partisan officials. It is that Donald Trump would invoke Adolf Hitler. The man invoke Adolf, incredibly dangerous. That Donald Trump would invoke Adolf Hitler, the man who is responsible for the deaths of 6 million Jews and hundreds of thousands of Americans.
That is something that is so rich, though, is that Trump is doing so much better for Jews in general. And I'm going to get to some stuff from the Drudge Report in a minute here, but Jews are so much better off under Trump. And yet, he was talking about this the other day. He said Jews, as a group, Jews tend to vote Democrat. There's something, I don't know if it's Stockholm syndrome or what it is, but they vote against their own betterment, their own safety, which is just mind-boggling.
All of this is further evidence for the American people of who Donald Trump really is. This is a window into who Donald Trump really is.
No, this is a window
from the
into
people who
are.
know him best, from the people who worked with him side by side in the Oval Office and in the Situation Room. And it is clear from John Kelly's words that Donald Trump is someone who, I quote, certainly falls into the general definition of fascist.
Yeah, we've heard this.
Who in fact vowed to be a dictator on day one and vowed to use the military as his personal militia.
Here we go. I wish I had found
to
that
carry
original.
out his personal and political vendettas.
Watch.
So yesterday we learned that
What she does at the end here. Well, I lost it.
With this AI tool, you can generate.
These things flip to another video.
of John Kelly.
I was going to show you the end. Watch what she does at the end. She makes these ridiculous charges. And then, does she stay for questions? What do you think?
To carry out his personal and political vendettas.
With this AI tool, you can generate images like this.
Actually, I couldn't show it to you exactly because it kept flipping into the next video. I got to work on that. But I trust me, she did not, she just turned around and walked away. Didn't take any questions or anything like that. So I want to show you what another online source is doing. And this is one reason I wanted to do this live stream tonight, because hardly anyone is talking about this and it needs to be pointed out. There's a guy named Drudge, Matt Drudge. He used to be, actually when Trump first ran in 2000, was running in 2015 and then became president in 2016, Drudge was like all on board. Drudge was conservative. He used to have a TV show on Fox for a little while until he had to finally get off that. Hang on one second here. He left that show because he wanted to show a baby being aborted. He wanted to show certain parts on TV. He was very pro-life, and Fox wouldn't let him show that, and therefore he said, "I'm not going to do the show anymore." So he quit the show. And unfortunately, he had a good show, Matt Drudge, and he had a great website. But somehow, somewhere after Trump got elected in 2016, Drudge turned on him. And he's never been the same since. He had some kind of a Trump derangement syndrome. And I'm going to show you some of what he's been putting up on his website. Here's one I saw the other day. Hitler did some good things. So we're kind of hearing that in the John Kelly thing now. And this is something he put up recently on the Drudge. Now, when I say he put it up, to be technically correct here, Trump or Drudge sold off apparently the Drudge Report to someone else. I heard that it was friends of his dad. Not sure if that's true, but he sold it to someone else quite some time back. But he's still in the background, and he just joined X again. He's been out of the public eye for a really long time. Now he's joined X again, and out of nowhere, right near the end of the election, just so he could come after Trump and get his derangement in. So he says Hitler did some good things. And then he said, blame the Jews if I lose. Doesn't that sound horrible when you have a picture of Adolf Hitler and then say Hitler did some good things? And then right underneath that, they put another article, or maybe it's the same article, they click to it, blame the Jews if I lose. What he's talking about, if you've ever been or seen one of his Trump rallies, is he was saying if he lost, there's a number of Jews, meaning Jewish Americans who are in this country who are Jewish, who don't vote for Republicans. They don't vote for Trump, even though the Abraham Accords he did, the safety in the Middle East that he's helped create. He brought the embassy back to Jerusalem. Nobody's ever done that. And so Trump is saying, hey, these guys are they're left wing. Like I said, Stockholm syndrome, whatever it may be, but they are not. They don't support what they should support to care about their own lives. It's a very weird thing. So anyway, Drudge put this up. Here's another one that Drudge put up. This is on the front of his of the website, thedrudgereport.com. If you want to go, I go there, by the way, very often just to find out what crazy left people are thinking, because it's good to know what they're doing. Here's another one. Trump trashes the USA. This was today's Drudge Report this morning. They've taken it off by now because Israel is fighting back against Iran and attacking Iran. They put up a new headline. But this morning it says Trump trashes the USA, garbage can of the world. Now, if you're a low information voter, you're a CNN voter, you're an MSNBC voter, somebody who just kind of reacts emotionally to things, and you say, oh, Trump said USA is the garbage can of the world. And I actually clicked on one of this article, and you see all these people that came over from Drudge Report, no doubt, and they're just left crazy type of people who are, how dare he says that the United States is the greatest country in the world, and we have a beautiful country. How can he call us the garbage can of the world? What he's saying is, people are treating us as a garbage can. They're bringing their worst here and dumping them here. That's a fact. We may still be the greatest country in the world, even after the shellacking we've taken from Biden-Harris. I think we still are the greatest country, but we're not going to be the greatest country much longer the way that other countries are using us as the garbage can of the world. It's very kind of easy to figure out if you really want to know. So, let me show you another one here. Oh, here we go. This is one later today that I saw. Trump will reenact Nazi rally. So Trump is going to be speaking at the Madison Square Garden in New York City coming up. And they said that the American Nazis, I guess, had a rally there in 1939. And now what? Because you call Trump a Nazi and Trump is having a rally at the same place, Madison Square Garden. That's where, I don't know if the Knicks still play there, but in the old days, I remember the New York Knicks used to play there. That was where they played. That's where concerts go. That's where all sorts of things go. To put these two things together is evil, just pure evil. And to give you an idea of what is going on in this country and what the left is doing right now. Again, I don't think they're trying to win at this point. I mean, they may be trying to win, but I think they're pretty much scared that they have lost this election or are going to lose the election. Get out there and vote, by the way. Vote. Tell everybody you know to get out there and vote and get the word out, because this is it, man. This is the biggest election. And people have said that before, but it is the most important election probably of our lifetime. And the choices are so clear. And I really don't care if you don't see the choices and you don't think it's clear. That's on you, man. Just put on your common sense glasses and you can see the choice is so clear. But here's what I just caught this in a Yahoo article that was connected to one of these articles from Drudge Report today. I just happened to catch this, and I read some of the Yahoo article that was attached to it. Look at some of this. Yahoo News, Trump comes, something about slurring against us. Anyway, this was directly from Drudge. You click over to it and you see a bunch of people here who a lot of them are probably Drudge readers, and they are going off in the comment section. So this person says, SF here says he's toast, burnt to a nice amber orange. Amazing to see how many people taken in by him. Blah, 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 blah. It's sad and terrible. Then what do they say here? See the yellow part? Luckily, we bought lots of brass. Huh. So you're planning on losing the election, but you're not planning. What are you planning to do with the brass Mr. SF or Mrs. SF, whoever you are? Of course, they won't put their name there. And then Leroy underneath said, I even bought a handgun. Ramini underneath says, what for, in case Kamala doesn't win? Yeah, I think that's what they're doing. And that's just one article I found. That's just one article I saw, led from the Drudge Report, led from people who are out of their minds. And that's the scary part. We have a lot of great people in this country, no doubt, but we have a subsection of people who are just whacked and angry people. A lot of them won't admit they're angry, but there's no other explanation for it. A lot of these people are whacked out of their minds. And I just pray to God that Kamala loses the election, there's going to, it's almost a given that there's going to be rioting in the streets, like there was the first time when Trump won in 2016. It'd be probably even worse this time. So I would just say, buckle up, stay in prayer to God, and don't be part of it. Don't be part of the anger, the violence. Be, as Gandhi would say, be the change you want to see. I mean, be a somebody who's just not doing that and who's not pulling into that kind of stuff. It is very, very scary. So just watch yourselves, watch people around you, keep an eye on things. Again, we go to polls, go vote, and tell everybody that has any brains, they should vote too, and get them out there and do everything you can and watch for people that are cheating, report it, do everything you can. But really, we need to make this thing, as they say, too big to cheat, or too big to steal, excuse me. Either way, too big to steal. That's the way we have to look at this. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Just checking one other thing here. Okay, so this is the Drudge Report and what they're doing. I want you to be aware of that the media is stoking this stuff, and people like Drudge, or the people that he has working for him now, or maybe he's not even in charge. I don't think he's even in charge anymore, but he's definitely the Trump-deranged person behind the scenes in a way, whether he's connected to the company or not. I don't think he is anymore. He sold it off, but it still has that mindset of Trump derangement. I watch these guys, even when there's good news for Trump, I go to the Drudge Report to see, and I know they're going to bury it. They bury it every time. They will not report anything. They were reporting Kamala ahead, Kamala ahead, Kamala ahead. And then all of a sudden, it became obvious that Trump was ahead, and they had to put something in there. So they said, "Oh, is Trump going to go? Is he going to declare victory too early?" That's the best they got. He's saying the guy's losing the whole time, and now you come out with an article that says, "Is Trump going to say he won too early?" So these are the kind of people we're dealing with. Drudge says debate was the end for Trump. Yeah, well, when Kamala, stopped being a VP for a week and then went and studied for the debate with Trump, and then could spit out all of the attack points, that's all she has is attack. She has nothing in and of herself that's good, nothing that she'll do for this country that's good. So when she went and did that, a lot of people on the left were all excited. Oh, wow, she just whooped his butt. And Matt Drudge was saying he's done. That's all he put on his site. He's done. And I'm sorry, said the end. Yeah. And so this is Drudge. If you don't know who he was, this is the guy that runs the Drudge, or used to run the Drudge Report. And again, he was a good man and flipped at some point. Pray for this man. I wish no ill upon him whatsoever, and I hope nobody does. Pray for this man, seriously. Okay, I think, you know what? I think I'm about wrapped. I'm about 3/4 of the way in. And I think we're going to do a wrap here, guys. I think we are going to wrap. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I see some people in the chat. One person is known to just serial chat and go on and on. I'm not going to entertain them right now. I know what they think about things. I'm not even going to bring it on. Sorry. call it non-democratic or whatever you want, but I'm just not gonna bring it in. Sorry about that. Hi, Armand. Good to see you. And Fabian, it is good to see you as well. And I'm praying for you. Okay, guys. Yeah, I think that's enough. I think there's a Trump rally coming up anyway, so you guys can go watch that. And I wish you guys the best. Pray for America. Be in prayer yourself, and because really God is in charge here. God is in charge of America. I don't care how much I do care how much they cheat, but God is ultimately in charge. And if God wants Trump to win, and again, it ain't about Trump. I mean, you can focus in on him. What you should be focusing in on is what does God want? What is God using Trump? Okay, it's not about many figures in the Bible and all of them are flawed, and God used a number of them. And the question is God using Trump? I believe he is using Trump. I don't believe there's any question about that. And he saved his life. And I very well think that he may install him as the 47th president of the United States. That would be, I mean, the difference between that and being underneath a communist rule, essentially being under communists. I don't know how anybody with good conscience could ignore that and just pick a communist. Know that if they don't help out a communist, socialist communist, I mean, really, this woman's dad was a Marxist, and she ain't black either. Candace Owens has been talking about that for a long time, but that's the least of it. She's certainly un-American and a danger to the United States. If that alone, just to at the very least, to prevent that from happening from this woman and her people, and Barry Soetoro getting his third term, this guy is destroying this country. And just to prevent that, you would think that somebody would vote for Trump. But look at all the great stuff Trump did. Did Trump do everything great? No. Some of the things I have argued with in the past, I've argued with a lot about some of the things he's done that I don't agree with. But you know what? He's 100 times better than Kamala. And if you care at all about people, if you think of the next generations, some of you people don't have children. I understand that. You don't think in the terms of future tense in that way. You don't really think about, children, you don't have grandchildren. You're not thinking of the future. But if you thought about the future of this country and didn't write the country off and say, oh, we're getting judgment. We're so evil that we're going to be judged. Listen, quit acting on God's behalf. You don't know what God is thinking about things. We don't know if God is going to give America a second chance. It looks like he may be doing that right now. If we were in such judgment, I don't think he'd be giving us a second chance. Think about that. Anyway, thank you guys for being with me today. And we might do more of these things, but really, I just wanted to deal with this so much today because I didn't see, especially the Drudge Report and places like that, I didn't see people covering that. And we have to really be on guard now. And again, maybe not as much about her winning, although act as if you're 20 points behind, but be ready for the left. There are some very dangerous screwballs on the left, and they're dangerous people on all sides, actually. But just be careful of that, be watchful, and be in prayer. And God willing, that God will give us another chance. And I hope that he does. And whatever he does, we have to be okay with it. But do your work too. Don't just sit back and wait on God. All right, guys. I will, whatever next time is, I'll see you next time. Get out there.